Welcome back to the Boy Time channel. Today, the microphones mount Eerie. No wheel. This is on the
Why?
wheel. We're doing a special. We're getting each a freebie because I forced this in here for many reasons. We did the Glow
Yes.
Part 2 almost exactly a year ago. So in typical Boy Time fashion, it takes us a year to get to the direct sequel of it. But a lot has happened in that time. Glow Part 2 has become one of my favorites of all time, probably top three.
Oh,
And I did an entire deep dive of Phil's music across the microphones and Mount Eerie. So I've heard every
yes.
single album except for this one. And I want to do this one on the channel because I thought it makes sense. We did the Glow Part 2. Why not do the sequel to it?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a deep dive video on Phil's catalog on the channel in a couple months.
What?
It just got delayed because he just announced a new album, because of course he did.
Oh,
So it'll be November or December, but it'll be here. So look forward for that. But you've heard the Glow Part 2 and A Crow Looked at Me.
this is correct. I think, yeah, I just listened to the Glow Part 2 earlier today because I wanted to prepare because I have not listened to that album since we did the video and the retrospective. Very scary. I was like, this is very intimidating, but I bet it's going to not be very intimidating now that I'm a different person than I was a year ago musically, you know. I've learned to appreciate some noise and drone a little bit. No, it is still scary and intimidating, and I still don't really understand what is happening. Crow Looked at Me was more accessible in that it was just very sad the entire time, and I liked that. So I don't know what to expect with this one, but I'm ready to experience it either way.
Me too. Yeah, I do know context around this. This is a direct sequel. It is a concept album. I believe all 5 of these tracks are one gigantic track split into 5 parts. So hopefully that doesn't mess with us having to pause after every song. But I think it's pretty grand in scope. So we'll see what we're getting here. But I think we can just dive right in. Track 1,
All right.
The Sun. Oh, geez, it's back.
I should have known.
Haunts my dreams. A second foghorn has entered.
handkerchief on the shore. See my arm raised and see me watch the waves roll in from somewhere. See me squint my eyes. See me learn to live without my loved ones. See me scan the skies and see the flock of birds goodbye. See me reach up, see me touch my neck, and see my fingers recoil, see the life come back into my body. See me living wide and see me look from side to side. See it billow up, see their gleaming eyes, and hear their scary trumpets. See me run in terror. You are above.
The sun.
Yeah, I don't really know what just happened, if I'm being honest. I will say I really loved the beginning of it, with that classic kind of foghorn from the end of the first album, and then into the like, I guess like samba infused drum stuff. I saw on Genius that it was inspired by the music of Black Orpheus, which is a pretty terrible movie that has a great soundtrack. So I think that that's a pretty good choice to be inspiring your music from. And then I think I kind of got lost once he started singing. But I liked it. It was a pretty good, I think it's a good song. I don't know. I don't really know what to think about it right now. I'm kind of lost, but I'm here.
Yeah. I'll do a masterpiece. I think it deserves it. What is happening? Like, I I think the Glow Part 2 is still an intimidating record for me, despite hearing it like dozens of times. This is just like so much more expansive and thematic. Like, you get nothing but the heartbeat turning into this like parade of drums and stuff for the first 10 minutes. You don't hear him until like the, 15-minute mark or something. Um, just like the way he's building the atmosphere here is phenomenal. I love the idea of like the Glow Part 2. He's dying at the end. You hear that foghorn and the heartbeat. And then the heartbeat turns into like becoming alive on this one. It gets quicker. It turns into drums. You kind of have like this growing up through horns and parades and stuff, as this kind of rebirth. And it's really, really, really cool as a concept. I think I've listened to all of his records, so like the uncomfortableness of him has like definitely worn off in terms of like his vocal style, how like intimidating it could be for just his vocals to be high in the mix like that, and everything else is kind of buried. There's these weird shuffling like guitars. it sounds phenomenal. It reminds me of some No Flashlight stuff, but like more stripped back. I love how close his vocals are. It's like uncomfortable. It's getting your feet wet in this like what is going to be a monumental concept. I think he definitely spent his time like setting this thing up. But yeah, love the way the guitars worked. I love the ending chorus where it's just a blast of noise hitting samurai sword levels there, which he has not done anywhere else in the discography. So yeah, fantastic. All right,
Oh man.
Solar System, track 2.
Fireball have rolled away in shaded valleys. So here I am in the creek bed. So here I feel my way in the dark. What wonder, what treasure map, what breaking of day. Wash me down the canyon. Quicksand, pull me in. Blow over me, solar wind. La, da, da, da. Your legs gracefully. I know you're out there. You're swaying and pleased. I know you're out there. You're vultures and trees. I know you're out there in mountainous peaks. Don't let gravity win.
Solar System.
That one was pretty dang good. I put that one in the winning playlist, but I was just thinking, like, oh, geez, that's gonna be a really bad one to put in the playlist because
just starts
I'm gonna
with
yeah, I'm gonna get jump scared by like the noisiest intro ever, and then it's like this really kind of, I don't know, alt folk song, I guess you could say. Yeah, I don't know, had a really nice groove to it. I loved it, felt like very eclectic, like it didn't feel like he was using like really any traditional instruments besides the guitar. I don't know, had a really nice vibe to it. That one I liked quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna be throwing these out all day, but again, perfect, absolutely perfect. I wouldn't change anything about that song, except maybe when I shuffle and it blasts me with noise, but whatever.
I'll have to
Yeah,
deal with it.
well, I'll deal with it. Phenomenal songwriting. The concept is still forefront here, talking about the sun and like have it like in the last track of him just like the sun being his only friend after he goes out after like wherever he's going on this island. He's like was on a boat going to an island by himself, and there's a boat chasing him, so he started running up the mountain. And then this track talking to the sun again, just the metaphor and everything, and across his whole catalog, it's like finding meaning in nature and this longing and this feeling his size of the universe and how small he really is, and just the sun being pictured as someone like juggling like soccer balls, as like the sun is just like, you know, having everything rotate around it. It's phenomenal metaphor. The sound of it is just fantastic. Again, the atmosphere building, you can do it maximally like he does in the first track, or just guitars, couple of instruments. It just is so incredibly peaceful and amazing. So yeah, fantastic. All right, back to Long Boys. Universe.
3 universe.
3 universe.
Not to be confused with 5 universe.
Oh, that's a good point. Phil cannot name a song to save his life.
See me look unveiled when I walk out of the canyon, and see me start to climb at the end of day. A close dark voice says,
Do you really think there's anybody out there?
so what? No one sees me. What do I care now the black night has seized me? They know my name. I know I'll be in the air. There's no end inside. How many times have I learned this before? How many times have I made up this song before? What heavy fog, what wild shadow.
Three universe.
That was pretty good, I think. I don't know. I feel so lost. And also, I think I have this problem whenever a song ends with like, a long synth slash drone outro. It makes me forget everything that came before it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I don't even remember what the song sounds like. I just remember the choir and the drone. But I remember really liking it. So it has to be a good sign. But I'm just completely and utterly lost right now. But I'm enjoying myself. I don't know. It's a weird
Aren't we all?
feeling I'm experiencing.
Yeah. Masterpiece again. This is like maybe my favorite one. I don't know. There's something about it. This is like where his magic really just comes out. Just the scale of he's working on here is like mind-boggling, because the Glow Part 2 was already extremely ambitious in like its scale and its concept. Everything's buttoned up here, and there's so much more instrumentation. There's so much more experimentation across all of it. I love that he's giving voices to these things of nature that are speaking to him. It feels like I'm like reading the Odyssey or something right now. just the scale of everything is just monumental. Yeah, the whole idea of the sun going down, it's nighttime, and then it's just him in the night sky and the universe kind of talking to him. It's interesting because I think Microphones in 2020 really put everything into perspective for me, where like all of his songs basically have the same bits and pieces, but he recontextualizes things. There's a lot of lines in here that are from other songs that come later. There's stuff from No Flashlight on here. We were just listening to Between Two Mysteries before we started, and the first lines of that song are in here. All of these things recontextualize, and I love the choir at the end. It just sounds so cool. It's incredibly cinematic. Like, you're pulled immediately into what he's doing here. And I just love how unwavering his voice is. He has such a confidence on these things where he doesn't care if he's hitting notes or not either. It's just letting everything speak for itself. It's just phenomenal. So, yeah. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Title track, Mount Eerie. Oh.
I'm on a boulder over alpine tops. I'm peeking. I watched you across the water in the evening.
You see what happened when Big Black Death breathes on you with his breath. I'm wild and woolly, bloating bully. Your breath I take to live, your death I ache to give. So take me in and crumble, be smothered in my rumble.
Each bite into a since breaking our blood now into you, and feathers from skin begin. The way they shine
Mount Eerie.
What a song.
What
I
a
think
song.
we can all agree on that. Um, yeah, I feel like I just like watched an opera in
Hmm.
Italian because I have no idea what just happened, but I can kind of get what's going on, I think. There there was a big bad guy that showed up, and then our main character died, and then a bunch of people or vultures or whatever were circling. Um, I guess that's what happened. I don't know. Sounded nice. I like the production of it. It felt very theatrical, which I'm for. I know you don't tend to like theatrical things, but I do. And I thought it was very well done with all of the characters and everything. It was nice. I'll say that. It was nice.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's weird when he does concepts like this and it's very theatrical because I find him extremely unpretentious somehow.
Mm.
Like he makes something so genuine out of this. He's just like really giving it his all on this, and it shows. It's like it has such a genuine, like heartfelt quality to all this. Yeah, I love the storyline here. It seems like, you know, it could be the big cloud, just death in general as a concept. It could be physically a gigantic cloud. Our character dying, assumedly once he gets close to the top of the mountain, and then vultures kind of like eating him and like consuming his memories. And then we get the same similar thing as the end of the Glow Part 2, where you have noise, bits and pieces coming back in. Gorgeous. Fantastic. I love the different voices. I love the personification of all these different like characters that he's doing. It really just does give this whole it just expands the world that much more, and he's already really great at doing that on other records. And there's lyrics in here that are tying into Dawn and a couple of things that I like needed to really like pick up on metaphor wise, and that's really helpful as well. So especially the wild and woolly line relating to woolly mammoth on that record, I think that adds another layer to that song now. I don't know, he's one of those where it's like there's bits and pieces in every single record that just keep building and building and building as you listen more and more, and those metaphors catch you easier and then the lines hit harder. So continuing to do that on the last record I'm hearing from him. So yeah,
Yeah.
phenomenal. All right, wrap this thing up with 5 Universe.
Now that I have disappeared, I have my sight. Beautiful black, you are unveiled. Now you're mine. Oh, universe, I see your face looks just like mine. We are open
Come on, one foghorn for old time's sake.
Nah. Universe. And the album, I suppose.
Universe I thought was pretty good. I'm always a fan of a vocal chorus, so I thought it was beautifully done. Having that be the outro of this otherwise chaotic and all over the place album, I thought was very nice choice. Yeah. I don't know if I have a whole lot to say about the lyrics. I'm sure you'll go more into it. But the album as a whole, I liked it. I feel like I have the same experience with all of his albums where I'm like, I'm glad I listened to it. That way I can say I listened to it. Bragging rights. Same with that Joy Division album. I have listened to it. But I'm probably never ever going to listen to it of my own accord ever again. Unless like 20 years down the line I become like you and really like that experimental stuff. I'm probably never going to listen to this again. Not a detriment against it or anything. It's just really not my speed. But yeah, very, very well done. But yeah, I'm lost. And it's too intimidating for me. Too big of a piece to bite off. So
Yeah. This might be a bigger piece than the Glow Part 2, honestly. This was intense.
yes.
Yeah, masterpiece on the last track, phenomenal. He dies, and then we actually have this kind of epilogue that we didn't get on the Glow Part 2. That one just kind of ended, and it was kind of up in the air. This one feels a lot more complete at the end. Just this concept of emptiness and all these different things of just the universe being everything and nothing at once, this just expansive concept that he's trying to grasp at, and in which he will continue to grasp at for the entirety of his career, and of course never find an answer. That's part of it. But I was interested because like a lot of like Buddhist practices show up in his work later on, and this kind of Zen and the emptiness and a Buddhist concept. We're seeing it here, which is interesting because I think this is the earliest I'm seeing it in his discography now. But everything just makes so much sense at the end of this track. Like, again, there's some lyrics on here that relate to other songs and make those make more sense for me. But yeah, what a phenomenal outro. Just the scale and intensity of this thing is just monumental, especially like right off the heels of the Glow Part 2. This is 2 years later. I'm sure he was writing and recording it pretty closely after that record. And to just one up that record in terms of scale is just an achievement. And I mean, the concept is quite large, but it stays on concept. It doesn't feel too, it touches on it in a lot of ways that I think are really nice, and it doesn't like it, the scale wasn't too big for him, which I think is nice. But yeah, I think with every Phil Elverum project, the first listen is always the worst listen. I've kind of figured that out. I'll go back to it for the second or third time, and then it'll really open up. I think the Glow Part 2 took me about like 8 times where I really saw the light of that thing, and then it just became like the best musical experience I've had in a long time. I have a feeling this will do a similar thing to me. I already love it, but I think by myself, no pausing, no having to analyze, just letting it take me is going to really go a long way here. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal masterpiece again from him. I think you'll like a lot more of Mount Eerie stuff. It's much less intimidating. It's much more folky. I mean, I know he was writing Dawn like a year after this when he went to Norway, and all the songs on Dawn are just so beautifully written, and they tackle some of these themes and some of this language and metaphor. So I think connecting those two records here is something that's really helping me get through this as well. But yeah, phenomenal. He's insane. Yeah, that's this. I could say more about it. I guess Mount Eerie is a real mountain right where he lived. So I'm assuming as a child and growing up, you see this gigantic towering mountain over you. A lot of these questions get raised. I think that's where a lot of the inspiration for this record came from.
Sure.
But yeah, phenomenal. So I'll have a deep dive on all of his stuff coming by the end of the year. He's got a new album coming in November, so I have to take that in as well now on top of this thing and wrapping up the writing on everything else. So I got a lot of work.
Is it a new Mount Eerie project?
It's a new Mount Eerie project.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 80 minutes long and 26 songs, so it's going to be intimidating. It's his first thing in 4 years. This is going to be a trip. Don't know if we'll do that one on the channel. That's a long one to get through, but I don't know. I might put a couple on here that you might enjoy later on down the line. But
Okay.
yeah, phenomenal, fantastic. What are we doing next?
Nice. Okay, so now it is my turn to pick something. And I
Anything.
am going anything I'm going to choose the soundtrack for Tron Legacy.
Let's
Just
go.
kidding. That was a joke. We're going to be doing Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers.
Yes, sir.
An album that I tried to listen to when it came out, and I'm like, this is too boring. But I think now I will like it.
If you don't
So-
like this, I have questions for you. This should be like some of your top music coming out of Punisher. So
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Time to leave this experimental thing and get back into our comfort zone. That's what everyone's always saying. Stay in your comfort zone. Don't ever try to leave or try new things. So it's very nice to be living that statement. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we'll be doing next week.
it's gonna be a fun one for me. That was my pandemic album, and I have not revisited it in years. So the emotional damage that will be brought up during that that album.
Oh, good.
This will be a fun one.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a very fun video because I'm probably going to love it and you're going to be crying in the corner.
Exactly.
So that'll be an interesting dichotomy, I
sir.
suppose. But that's it for us.
That's it.
Stream the microphones and Mount Eerie. Very good band and person. Phil
real.
Elverum is. Check out our podcast. We do stuff on there. Unfortunately, by the time this video comes out, Simeon Summer Marathon will be over.
So sad.
I know, it is very unfortunate. But if you want, you can get caught up on over 17 episodes of monkey-themed madness. So
And I
if
talk
that's
about
not a-
Mount Eerie albums through all of that marathon. So if you want to hear my early thoughts on those.
That's true. The podcasts start with Monkey Madness and end with Phil Elverum.
As he would like.
As he would like. You know, he has an elephant album. He has a crow
It's true.
album. This new album should have been a monkey.
It's true.
Or
It's
a
true.
great ape.
That would have been too many coincidences lining up at once. I would have, I think, lost my mind if there was a monkey-themed album during Simeon's summer as I was finishing up the discography.
That would have been awesome.
I would have a little bit of a brain aneurysm, I think.
But that's it for me. That's all the plugs I have to plug. Unless you want to plug something.
I have nothing to plug.
Okay. I didn't know if you started a new project without me knowing.
No. If you didn't know, I wouldn't tell you probably. But I don't have one.
Well, now I think you do have one and you just haven't told me.
You know the project I'm working on. Everybody knows it
Oh.
because I talked about it 3 times in this episode. So
Well, that's true. That's true.
I barely have time for that. There's no way I could do something behind your back.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Uh-huh.
The third time.
Yes. Bye.